Well, hello there, and welcome to the Vital Goddess podcast. If you've been here before and you're tuning in again, welcome back. I so appreciate you. Always more fun when you are here along for the ride. And if you are brand new to the show, very first time listening or watching, if you're seeing me on YouTube, I am really thrilled you're here. And I hope you find something here that you're looking for, something that supports you at this stage of your journey. I'm Diane Shepherd. I am a certified Tantra coach. I've been doing this work for over 20 years, and I run a goddess school, a sacred feminine mystery school, where I really support women to reclaim the sacredness of their bodies, because your body is a sacred temple, by the way, in case you didn't get the memo, and really reclaim the power of their pleasure, which is part of that sacredness as your pleasure, your erotic power, your sexual energy. So everything I teach is devoted to that, really helping women tune into this amazing power that for so many women on the planet has been driven underground, has been dormant. And it's not that you need to fix yourself or get anything from the outside here. It's really an awakening. It's about awakening this part of you that most likely, for many valid reasons, has gone dormant. And my work is all about helping you revive that, awaken that part of you, inner goddess energy, so that you can get your toes in the sand, I like to say, really come into your pleasure, into that high vibe state of pleasure and embodied love, so that you can get your hands in the clay and start to really craft your life, design your life as a creatrix you were born to be from the inside out, in alignment with your desires. So that's what we do around here. And if that sounds like fun, you're in the right place. So in today's episode, I want to dive into reclaiming your erotic innocence, the initiation that we never got. And this is a big part of the work we do in my group program, the Vital Goddess Mastermind. We are about halfway through our fall semester already, 2025. It has been an incredible journey so far. The women in there are friggin' amazing. And diving in, we have salons weekly during the semester, 90 minutes. So it's really like taking a new yoga class, signing up for a yoga class. We meet once a week on Wednesday, my time, which is New York time, and for 90 minutes. And I guide women through a variety of curated salons and embodiment experiences, all designed to bring them home to themselves. And again, these women are really rocking it and really working the tools and having a blast doing it. So if that's something that sounds interesting to you, now's the time to start the conversation with me about to join us next semester, which will be starting at the end of January 2026. But now is the time to plant the seeds. It's so funny. I'm actually recording this on the new moon in Libra. So planting seeds for all things Venus right here as I speak. So inviting you into, again, planting seeds for what you want your life to unfold into, not just in 2026, but beyond that. How can you get more in alignment with who you are, reclaim the parts of you, again, that might have gone dormant for many valid reasons, and start to really create your life from the inside out and really, really rock the third chapter of your life, create a masterpiece and really create a legacy of love is the way I look at it, because you are embodied love. And that's really ultimately what this is about. If I had to say like one nutshell phrase of the work I do and support women in, it's really helping you really have that experience that is your birthright of embodied love. So there'll be a link in the show notes to book a call with me, a desire clarity call, and I can explain to you all about the group program, but also I have just a few spots open for one-on-one coaching prior to that, which is an amazing deal, and will include the full tuition for the group program. So anyway, we can talk all about that on the call. Book it, and let's get into conversation about this, because now's the time, right? It is time to goddess up. We look around the world, there's a lot to be scared of. There's a lot to be angry about. There's a lot to really be cringe about, let's be honest. And I feel that it is time now more than ever for women to truly step into their radiance and their power in this way, because that's actually what changes your life from the inside out. So today, again, talking about reclaiming your erotic innocence and really it is about the initiation you never got. And that's what I provide, is that initiation for you so that you can initiate yourself. And again, this is through no fault of your own that you did not receive this initiation. This is patriarchy. And women have been pretty much severed from the real true power of their sensuality and their sexual energy for thousands of years. And this is, generationally passed down. So never make yourself wrong. I want you to give yourself a big hug right now and realize, like, yeah, I was just talking to one of my clients this morning actually about being a cycle breaker. And all of the women in my world are cycle breakers. And while that sounds exciting and fun, and the rebel in me, the revolutionary in me loves that. Yeah, cycle breakers, let's go. There's also, it's a kind of a big deal, and we need community. We need each other to hold space for that, because it is a lot. It can be very confronting. It brings up all of our stuff and probably our ancestors' stuff as well. And we need solid somatic tools, first of all, to move that through the body. That's the way out. The way out is in. The way out, the way through is through the body. So in my world, that really is about breath and movement and sound, and then bringing those tools into erotic practice like the jade egg or the yoni wand practice. And I'll explain what those are in a little bit in this episode if that's brand new to you. But anything that I share with women, it's always rooted in that, like bringing you home to yourself so that you can bring whatever emotions are coming up into the body, to move through the body so that you can get clarity and come home to yourself, right? Your emotions are not an accident. They're not a problem to solve. This is your sacred in intelligence, your sacred guidance system that most likely you've been taught to mistrust and to tune out and to disregard. And yeah, so it's about reclaiming that body intelligence and starting to trust yourself. That's where the magic really starts to happen. So again, it is about a reclamation of innocence. It's so important to remember that. Because when you think of sex, we've had a lot of conditioning around sexuality and sensuality, and it can feel anything but innocent. And this is the reclamation work of like really diving in there and taking back this innocence, this power that is rightfully yours. I often say that what we're exploring in my mastermind program, we should have learned probably when we were 12 or 13 years old as young teenage girls, right? This is just a way of being, a lifestyle of being an embodied woman. And you, in your erotic innocence and your pleasure, is the way you're designed to go through life. And that's been stolen from you. And you can get it back. Yeah. So erotic innocence, what do I mean by that? It really is a slow, simple practice of coming back home to your body, your pleasure, without any thought of how it's going to excite a lover, turn on a lover, or be performative in any way. And I know so many women are really struggling with that in their intimate relationships. They feel numb. They feel like they have to be performative. They might just shut it down completely and give up on it, or they feel like they have to fake orgasm and things like that. And that's all indicative of never having that initiation that you so deserve, of having your own erotic experience, your erotic innocence with your body. Your body is amazing. She is a wonderland, if you will, of ecstatic energy and high vibrational energy. And I know I was never taught how to access that. In fact, it was heavily shamed. And you add some trauma on top of that, and it can feel like this huge boulder in your way of experiencing what I'm talking about. But you absolutely can have that experience. You can take it back, right? You can get it back. And it's not even about being aggressive. It's about bringing in playfulness and levity and letting yourself be that young teenage girl, getting a little giddy with it. Again, I was having a beautiful conversation with a client today, and I had this image of the two of us like being kind of giddy teenage girls together, and it just had such a beautiful vibration. That's a big part of what we want to recapture. And you probably have some memories of that, of feeling that innocence and feeling the vitality of that. And again, the world being what it is quickly steals that from young girls especially. And men have their own story around that. They've been really duped as well in terms of their own sexual energy and what it's really capable of, and how to truly cultivate it in ways that really serve them. That's a whole other podcast episode, maybe a whole other podcast in general. I can do a whole podcast just on that, on the male experience of all of this and how that has shut down and confused so many men. But what my work is about, at least right now, is about women and how can we, again, reclaim that innocence that is rightfully yours and take it back, because it is about your own direct experience. And your body, again, is incredible. What is available to you is immense in terms of, feeling good, spiritual experiences, high levels of ecstatic experiences, and love, universal love. You are love. And this is all about you reconnecting to that love just for yourself, for no one else first. And that's really the basis of my approach, really embracing the innocence first and then take it from there, right? Without that real relationship with ourselves, that erotic, innocent relationship with ourselves, anything we put on top of that is just going to add to the confusion. Now, I know when a lot of people hear the word Tantra, they think edgy sexuality practices and BDSM and kink and things like that. Quite often, people think that's what it's about. That is, from my perspective, absolutely not what it's about. In fact, I'm not a fan of those practices. I think they're a huge distraction, and I'm not coming at that from a moral standpoint whatsoever. Different people do different things, and it could be really healing. From what I understand, people say, I've never been interested in that. And I have a feeling I just didn't get pulled into that because I started with my own erotic innocence. And I let that be my navigation into what I want to explore, either solo or with partners or whatever it is. But if we don't have that as the bedrock of that connection to self first, I feel that it can be misleading, confusing, a distraction, and even sometimes dangerous to put ourselves in containers or situations where things are, getting more edgy and out there. And again, this is not a moral judgment on any of that stuff. And some people really find what they're looking for there. But my approach is, reclaim your own erotic innocence first and then see where that leads you. Yeah. And I'm here to cheer you on every step of the way. If that's truly what you're, want to explore from that place of authenticity, it's a whole different thing, isn't it? Otherwise, it's just another way to outsource your power. It really is. Drama sells. Let's be honest, drama sells. And I think we see that a lot in the world of sexuality and tantra and things like that. So that's my take on it. I don't say that with the intention of offending anyone, but I think it's important to state right out front that my work is about cultivating that slow practice of coming home to yourself and really reclaiming your innocence, because this is an innocent energy, right? Young children embody their Eros effortlessly and their emotions effortlessly. And we have that ability too, and we can reclaim it. And when we do, there ain't nothing like the real thing. You have this incredible connection to yourself and that self-trust, and you start to really hear yourself. You hear your higher self. You start to hear your inner guidance much more clearly when you reclaim this part of you. And that will never steer you wrong, and it'll guide you where you need to be. So I know a lot of people are going for those peak experiences. I say, let's start with you and reclaiming you in the simplest way, the most vanilla way, if you will, of just your own self-pleasure practice, which honestly can be simply breath work with your hand on your heart to begin, hand on heart, hand on belly. That can be the simplest erotic practice of just giving yourself permission to receive the breath as a lover. Great way to start, actually, because that's going to awaken your body. It's going to awaken your body's intelligence, your BI, your fascia. that beautiful tapestry of intelligence, this liquid crystal, if you will, of tapestry that runs through every muscle, every organ, and the nerves. It's like this is where our trauma gets stored. This is where our blocked emotions get stored. And the practices I teach that help you start to liberate that stuck energy that's keeping you from feeling your own erotic innocence are things like breath work and sensual movement or nonlinear movement, right? Moving into the skin within, the fascia, so you can start to move this energy and move your emotions that again are stuck, that are part of the trauma and the conditioning that you received that cut you off from your innocent vitality. So breath is a big one. The sensual breath work is where you want to start if you're brand new to this world. It can really bring you deep. And again, this can be hands-free, right? Or just hands again on your body, reclaiming the innocence of that. You get to breathe because you are in this beautiful body, and slowly allowing that breath to gently open you from the inside. You'll start to feel exactly what I'm talking about. That's the challenge of teaching this stuff. It's like words won't really convey it. It's like you have to get yourself into some kind of somatic practice to start to really feel this for yourself. That's where you start to trust yourself. That's where you start to gather evidence, right? That this is a real thing and a real reclamation is through your own somatic experience of it is really what it's about. So breath work is great. Sensual movement, again, breath movement. So coming into a regular daily practice of moving in a nonlinear way. I know you've heard me say this before if you've been in my world, but I'm a big fan of just hip circles in the kitchen when you're waiting for a pot to boil. Just move your body, put on some music. One song can make a huge difference in how you feel. That is part of reclaiming your erotic innocence, right? So beautiful way to do that. So another tool that we use in my world is sound. We use what's called the Taoist healing sounds and just the organic sounds that we can make with our own bodies, like a simple thing like a sigh when you're coming into your hip circles. Oh, that somatic sigh tones the vagus nerve. It's now being called the love nerve because this is how we can downregulate our nervous system to that place where we actually can receive love, where our bodies can rejuvenate, first of all, but such an innocent way to come into the parasympathetic or the ventral vagal state of your nervous system. I like to call it the goddess zone or the pleasure zone, where you can be present and embodied, where you can receive the pleasure of the present moment. And that's such a great way to do that through sound. Again, just a sigh to start with. And we go deeper. There are specific Taoist healing sounds that we use in my work that also are really spot specific and can help you get to the root cause of some of the stored emotion like fear, anger, even deep rooted anxiety of not having your needs met, things like that. This could get lodged deep in the body and in the yoni, in your vagina. So, which is a great segue into another tool that we use in my practice, which is making love to crystals. I teach something called the jade egg practice. And just as it sounds, the egg practice is a crystal egg. You can use jade or another crystal that we used one with a drilled hole in it to attach a string because we do a series of movements to awaken from the inside. So it's like doing sensual movement, but inside the vagina or the yoni, and such profound healing can happen there. So you're working with the fascia. This is so beyond the Kegel. We're not squeezing rigidly, mechanically, and releasing. I'm a former Pilates teacher and a former Vinyasa flow yoga teacher. I'm a big believer in fluid movement as a healing modality, as healing medicine, big believer in precision toning. So I teach the jade egg in a very unique way. I have my own 5 key moves of yoni mastery that are not like Cosmo magazine tricks to drive your man wild, although they will. This is really about you reclaiming your own erotic innocence just for your own vitality and see where that takes you. Right? You might decide like you don't even want a partner. You feel so good, right? Or you might decide like, oh yeah, I'm going to bring this into my lovemaking. It's going to be amazing. But the way I teach the jade egg or the crystal egg is very movement centric. And again, what we're doing here is working with the fascia of the body. Your body's intelligence, this literally wakes up the intelligence of your yoni, the sacred feminine essence that lives within you. And for many valid reasons, you can be cut off. This can be dormant. You could have stored and stuck emotions there that are blocking you from feeling the innocence of this energy flowing through your body as it's designed to do, to really fuel you and provide such bliss and ecstasy for you. Pretty much on demand when you have this awakened within your body. But one of the practices we use that can be really great to liberate the stored emotion and the trauma that blocks you from feeling your erotic innocence is, again, the jade egg or yoni egg practice. I remember years ago, one of my clients who was a yoga teacher and a meditation teacher, and she had been for many, many years. And so we got into the topic of emotions and stored emotion in the yoni in the body. And she said, no, I'm good. I'm so Zen. I've been teaching this, Zen meditation for 20 years and I don't have any anger. And at the same time, one of her chief complaints was like, I feel numb. I can't really feel pleasure in my body and I feel like I'm inorgasmic. I can't access orgasmic energy in my body. So I said, okay, I hear you. Let's just give this practice a try. So I gave her some homework. She did some work with the jade egg and she came back and she's like, oh my God, I had no idea how much anger I was harboring in my yoni. And she started to work with this again through breath and through movement with the moves and also through sounding, and started to liberate that and was able to have a transformation and reclaim her erotic innocence in such a powerful way. So just a little anecdote there. So another practice that we use to reclaim your erotic innocence is something called a yoni wand. It's a crystal wand and they come in many different shapes and sizes. And some are quite erotic looking. Some are really simple, just straight up crystal wand. But this is a crystal that you can use internally in your yoni to, again, awaken the dormant energy, to awaken any stored emotions that have been blocking you from feeling this erotic innocence of yours. And we use these crystal wands again to mindfully, respectfully, with lots of honor, come in to our own body and start to repattern any negative experiences we've had with penetration, which, let's be honest, I think every woman I've ever met has definitely had negative experiences with penetration, some, very serious and severe, and some just like that was not good. But the body registers that as trauma and it starts to block your bliss. We can't selectively numb. We start to disassociate. So these two practices with the crystals are really wonderful. The egg practice and the wand, I call them the dream team. And this is something we explore deeply in my work and to support women to, again, really get their own experience, to take their power back in this way. So I guess that's all I'm going to share for now, but it's your birthright, right? To feel this erotic innocence of yours. And I would start there if you're interested in anything like Tantra or exploring different practices. I think really starting with yourself is the way to go. And I have a lot of free resources for you. And also the place, if you're really serious about this, the place to be is my group program and perhaps with some private coaching with me, where we can really get in there and support you and give you all the space and time you need. This is designed to support you long term and provide the sisterhood support as well. That can be so amazing. If you're a cycle breaker like me, it's really essential that you have that support. All right, my love, that is all for this episode. I'll catch you next time. Take care.